It was meant to be a peaceful family lunch, but by nightfall, 3 people were dead, and the woman who served the meal became the world's most mysterious hostess. Was it a tragic mistake, or a carefully cooked plan? It all began on a quiet Saturday afternoon in Leongatha, a small town in rural Australia. Erin Patterson, a 48-year-old mother, invited her former in-laws over for lunch, her ex-husband's parents, Gail and Don Patterson, and Gail's sister Heather, and husband Ian. On the table, a warm, golden, beef Wellington, crisp pastry, tender meat, and a sauce so rich it made everyone compliment the cook. But hidden beneath that flaky crust were deathcap mushrooms, one of the most lethal fungi on Earth. Within hours of leaving Erin's house, her guests began to feel violently ill. They were rushed to the hospital, vomiting, dizzy, their organs shutting down one by one. Doctors were puzzled. Tests revealed traces of amatoxin, the deadly compound found in deathcaps. 3 of the guests, Gail, Don, and Heather, would never recover. Only Ian survived, barely clinging to life in a coma for weeks. The nation watched in horror. What kind of person poisons their own family? Erin Patterson insisted she was innocent. She told detectives she bought the mushrooms from an Asian grocery store, that she didn't know they were toxic. She even said she'd eaten some herself, but strangely, she didn't get sick. Then came the food dehydrator, a key piece of evidence, found dumped at a local waste facility after police said Erin destroyed it once the investigation began. Why would an innocent woman destroy the very thing that could clear her name? Detectives began to peel back the layers of Erin's story. Her marriage had fallen apart. There were rumors of bitterness, financial tension, and custody battles. And that lunch, the one that ended in death, had been an attempt to reconcile. Was it really a peace offering? Or payback served on a plate? Even after her arrest, Erin maintained her innocence. She wept on camera, saying she loved her guests, that she'd never hurt them. But the evidence told another story. Mushrooms hand-cut, carefully cooked, and hidden in a meal shared with people she once called family. The world was left wondering, was Erin a grieving woman caught in a tragic accident, or a cold, calculating killer who turned her kitchen into a weapon? When police sat Erin Patterson down for questioning, they didn't just want her story, they wanted the truth behind the most chilling dinner in modern Australia, because somewhere between her tears and her silence, there was something she wasn't saying. It was day 3, after the fatal lunch. Erin Patterson walked into the police station in a beige coat, her eyes red, her hands trembling. The nation had already labeled her the mushroom killer, but detectives weren't sure what to believe. Was she a grieving host? Or a mastermind who thought she could outsmart science? The first question they asked,
"Did you eat the same food your guests ate?"
Her answer,
"Yes, but I didn't swallow much."
Detectives exchanged looks. Not swallowing much? How do you taste test a deadly dish without dying, unless you knew what was inside? Behind closed doors, police had already made a disturbing discovery. A local man reported finding a burnt-out food dehydrator at a nearby dump. It was traced back to Erin. When questioned, she admitted she threw it away.
Because it smelled weird.
But experts said something else. The dehydrator may have been used to dry and concentrate the deadly toxins in the mushrooms, and that made one detective whisper,
"She didn't just serve them, she prepared them."
Her estranged husband, Simon Patterson, was supposed to attend that lunch too. At the last minute, he canceled. Simon's parents and aunt and uncle went instead, and they never came home. Police soon discovered something Simon had written months earlier. "I almost died once from a mysterious stomach illness." He'd been hospitalized after eating one of Erin's meals. That note would change the case forever. Toxicology confirmed. Deathcap mushrooms. Not store-bought, not safe varieties. These were wild and lethal. Detectives began retracing Erin's movements, analyzing her phone, and uncovering deleted web searches. One stood out: how to identify edible mushrooms in Victoria. At first, it seemed harmless, but the timing was everything. Just days before the fatal lunch. Coincidence or planning?
I'm devastated. I loved them. I can't believe they're gone.
But investigators noticed something strange. Her tone shifted when the cameras turned off. From sorrow to irritation, from tears to silence. They called it the Erin mask, an emotional wall they couldn't read, and behind it, a truth too dark to guess. Was Erin Patterson a grieving mother caught in a nightmare, or the chef of her own deadly recipe? As her case heads to trial, the world waits for answers, but one question still lingers: if she truly didn't mean to kill. My YouTube analytics shows that over 80% of those who watch my videos are not subscribed. Kindly subscribe to this channel, like and share our videos. The courtroom was silent, cameras waited, the world watched. After months of rumors, grief, and unanswered questions, Erin Patterson was finally about to speak, and what she said would change everything. The courtroom was silent, cameras waited, the world watched. After months of rumors, grief, and unanswered questions, Erin Patterson was finally about to speak, and what she said would change everything. The courtroom was silent, cameras waited, the world watched. After months of rumors, grief, and unanswered questions, Erin Patterson was finally about to speak, and what she said would change everything. The courtroom was silent, cameras waited, the world watched. After months of rumors, grief, and unanswered questions, Erin Patterson was finally about to speak, and what she said would change everything. It was standing room only inside the Melbourne Supreme Court. Family members of the victims filled the benches, their eyes locked on the woman who once shared their dinner table. Erin Patterson sat expressionless, her hair tied back, face pale under the fluorescent light. In front of her, 3 photographs: Gail, Dawn, and Heather. All smiling, all gone. The prosecutor began.
This wasn't an accident. This was murder. Cooked, plated, and served.
A chill swept through the room. Experts were called to the stand. They testified that the mushrooms used in Erin's dish were Amanita phalloides, the infamous death cap, responsible for more poisonings than any other fungus on Earth. Each cap contains enough toxin to kill a human. 4 were enough to end a family. But the shocking part? These mushrooms don't grow near Erin's home, so how did they end up in her kitchen? Prosecutors said Erin had collected them deliberately, using wild foraging guides printed from the internet. Her defense argued otherwise, that she'd been given the mushrooms by mistake from an Asian grocer. The jury had to decide, mistake or method. The prosecution introduced a name that made the courtroom gasp: Simon Patterson, Erin's ex-husband. He wasn't one of the victims, but his testimony would become the most haunting of all. Simon told the court how, a year earlier, he'd fallen violently ill after one of Erin's home-cooked meals. He was hospitalized for weeks, doctors baffled by liver failure symptoms, the same signs caused by death cap poisoning. He survived. But now, looking at his parents' photos, his voice cracked.
If I hadn't canceled lunch that day, I'd be dead too.
Halfway through the trial, a leaked document surfaced, a handwritten note from Erin herself. It wasn't quite a confession, but it wasn't innocent either.
She wrote, "I didn't mean for them to die. I just wanted peace."
Those words echoed through the courtroom. Peace. Did peace mean reconciliation or revenge? Her lawyer argued it was grief talking. The prosecutor said it was guilt, thinly disguised as regret. As the trial dragged on, the media dubbed her the Mushroom Widow. Every headline, every photo, every whisper blurred the line between tragedy and murder. Erin never looked back at the gallery, not once. When asked again if she poisoned her family, her reply was calm, almost cold.
"I loved them. I didn't kill them."
But the prosecutor's final words hit like a blade.
Love doesn't explain a food dehydrator in the trash. Love doesn't explain a search for deadly mushrooms. Love doesn't explain why she's the only one alive.
After 6 weeks of testimony, the jury retired to deliberate. Hours turned to days, and as the nation waited for the verdict, Erin Patterson sat still, the same quiet composure she had when the story began. But behind those calm eyes, there's one final secret yet to be revealed.